The morning he left, I remember I went up into my parents' room and he was getting ready, and my dad he was never like the big huggy, kissy kind of a dad, but you always just knew he loved you. And I remember going into his room and he was packing one of the green duffel, those big green duffel bags that you always see him carrying around. And I remember at the end he gave me a big hug. And yeah, that was the last time I saw him. So
I get a phone call from one of my dear friends that John was killed by a suicide bomber, and it was one of those gut punches that just sort of sucked all the oxygen out of you.
I always wondered if John was going to be one or two things. John was either going to be a great Army officer and serve that way, or John was going to be a Jesuit priest. He was going to be one or the other. His faith was strong, his faith in his family was strong, and his love of country was strong.
For 46 years of his life, he did what he loved. He loved being a soldier. He loved being a dad. He loved being a husband. And a lot of people go through life and they are bitter. They're not satisfied with what they do. He was satisfied beyond compare in every aspect of his life. He just didn't have long enough time doing it.
John died in May of 2010, and a bunch of classmates got together, and the immediate concern was to be sure that his family was taken care of. He left behind 5 children.
It really was a group of people that initially started that were very close to John. They had served together early in their careers as lieutenants. They were best friends at West Point.
If you asked any soldier if you could take care of something while I'm gone, what would they say? They'd say, take care of my wife and take care of my kids. And we've decided that to honor John, who had 5 children, we're going to take care of their children, and we're going to do it by paying for their college educations.
The genesis of the fund was to step in and help Kelly with those expenses, in her case specifically, that wasn't covered through John's VA benefit.
it started out as a couple of my dad's classmates just wanting to look after us, make sure we were taken care of. And then it kind of snowballed into the Johnny Mac Soldiers Fund.
Think about a private or a specialist whose wife and family are at home, the husband's deployed, they're struggling to make ends meet, and somehow if we can step into a gap and take care of those kids through education, that is our mission.
The education provides opportunity, and if we can help continue to provide that opportunity that soldier can no longer do themselves, that would be certainly consistent with what John would want us to do.
For somebody who has lost a parent in combat, I mean, I can't even begin to imagine the profound consequences and changes and sense of loss that'll be carried with the family for the rest of their lives.
You know, there's 16,000 kids whose parents made the ultimate sacrifice. 16,000 kids that we can take care of.
My name is Javon Lemon. I'm the daughter of Staff Sergeant Jerome Lemon. He was in the military as well as the highway patrol.
From as long as I can remember, that's all we ever knew was the Army.
My dad was a mechanic. If it had an engine, he could fix it.
He was just simple, jeans and t-shirt kind of guy. He was just a loving father.
He was the life of the party. He brought the charm to the room.
My father died October 27th, 2004 in Iraq.
He died from a non-combat related injury on October 20th of 2005.
The first thought was just, where do we go from here? What do we do next? There was no thought after tomorrow. There was no thought for next week. There was no thought that my father would be gone.
It felt like a dream. I felt like I was just gonna wake up and he was gonna be home. And I never got to say goodbye.
As an old infantry officer, I feel very strongly that part of my mission from the day I was commissioned in 1986, and even though I took the uniform off in 1991, I've always felt as part of my responsibility that we take care of our own.
We just didn't know that there were people out there that wanted to help us and that could help us.
If you want to be an artist, engineer, anything, they want to help you achieve your dream in life.
There's no words to describe what they've done for me.
I'm starting my junior year.
I'll be graduating in 6 months.
I will be graduating in December with my bachelor's in psychology.
If my dad would still be here, he definitely would have the biggest smile I've ever seen on his face.
If we can give something to these children that have given so much, they've given up their heroes, they've given up their moms, they've given up their dads in the service of our country. And if we as a country can't come together to pay that back in whatever humble way that we can, somehow there's a disconnect for me. We owe these children that. We owe them that much. And we're going to do our best to fill that space.
We're all West Pointers. And we have an obligation to serve. Now, we have to serve. It's part of who we were. And this is a small way we can give back to those that have given so much.
It was really weird. I graduated on May 18th, 2013, which was exactly 3 years to the day, and I actually walked across the stage almost to the minute that my dad was killed. It was one of the hardest, best things that I've ever done. That was important to me, and that was important to him.
We're honoring our fallen comrades by taking care of the children they left behind.